Joining us now is Shawn Amos. Let me just set it up here for everybody. A singer, songwriter, music producer, digital marketing entrepreneur. Your father, famous Amos, the cookie that we all loved, yes. Shawn has dealt with mental health issues in his own family, currently sits on the D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services Board of Directors. I'm so grateful to have you here to talk about your story. You see a show like Empire that everybody's watching and they're talking about this, and you think what?
I think, thank God. And because the number one thing we all need to do is talk more. You know, there's such a stigma around this stuff still, and the stigma exists in large part because people don't talk about it.
Yeah. Now we're seeing Lucius Lyon, the father, look back on his life with his mother. Your mother had mental health issues. Talk about growing up.
Yeah, you know, my mom suffered from schizoaffective disorder, which is sort of a nasty cocktail of bipolar and schizophrenia.
And let me say, we're looking at these beautiful pictures of her. She was a singer as well.
Yeah, she was a singer. She performed under the name Shirley May. She studied at Carnegie Hall. She sang. She was signed to Mercury Records. She sang up and down the Eastern Seaboard. My father, before he started Famous Amos, was a music agent at William Morris.
But yes, she suffered to the point where she took her own life.
Yep.
Talk about growing up with a mother who was suffering.
You know, it's you know, when you're a suicide survivor or when you grow up with a parent who's mentally ill, you deal a lot with you know, keeping secrets, and you deal a lot with feeling a lot of guilt and a bit of shame, and there's always a lot of what ifs. You know, and I think that you know, when I grew up, people talked about this stuff even less. There was no TV shows about this stuff. There's no Empire going on.
Right.
So it's kind of a solitary sort of existence in a way.
Where did you find your understanding on this issue?
You know, in her death, ironically. You know, I mean, in her death came a lot of healing, ultimately, and came a desire to really want to understand not only my own past, but understand her more and figure out, you know, what she was battling all that time that I didn't quite understand. That's part of what led me to D.D. Hirsch.
Yeah, okay, and now you're on the board of the D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Center. They do fabulous work. They have a big event coming up next week where you're getting the word out more. What do you say to the world about mental health? Well,
next week we have our 20th anniversary Erasing the Stigma Awards at the Beverly Hilton, and we're honoring Maya Forbes, who did an amazing film called Infinitely Polar Bear about her father who had bipolar, and Melissa Rivers, whose father committed suicide, Joan Rivers' daughter. So, you know, our main message is that people need help. These people who are dealing with mental illness, it touches everybody. They're not criminals, they're not demons, that it touches all of us. And the biggest thing that we can do to help one another is to erase the stigma, as the event is called, and start talking about this stuff and allow people a safe space to explore what's going on and to live with it. It's not a death sentence. It doesn't have to be a death sentence at all.
I want to show your music video. It's such a fun video, but overall, in general, how much of your storyline with your mother has gone into your music?
You know, it did a lot. I did an album in 2003 called Thank You, Shirley May, which was entirely a tribute to my mother and her career and her life, and it was a chance for me to get to know a woman that I never knew. You know, and I stopped making music after that for a while because, frankly, it was kind of too painful to make music for me. I discovered the blues in 2013, and actually, you know, contrary to what people think of the blues, it's a really joyful music.
Oh, I love this video. What's the name of this video?
It's called You're Gonna Miss Me When I Get Home.
And we're calling you now the Reverend Shawn.
The Reverend Shawn. I've sort of been reborn as a reverend, and you know, a lot of my making music now is really about joy. It's sort of left the painful stuff behind.
Thanks so much for coming and sharing your story.
Awesome,
awesome. All right, coming up,